247 Sports.
Yeah, Joe, who did you lean on this weekend when you're thinking you're playing Colorado and then all of a sudden you're playing USC? How did you kind of prepare for both schools to be ready for this event to happen?
Yeah, I mean, not to mention we're preparing for a Washington game, so all the binders and game books in my office, and unfortunately I got two of them that have game plans in them and no opponent. So the past 48, 72 hours have been just got to stay on your toes. You had to prepare for everything, and certainly an opponent like USC is difficult enough to prepare for with a normal amount of time, and now with the short amount of time. So I guess it's like Big Brother. I'm a fan of the reality show. Expect the unexpected.
James Kripke, the Oregonian.
So we talked last week about preparing for Washington's edge rushers. You do it every week. They've obviously got a very talented group at SC, 50 and 99. What do you see from those guys, and just how do they compare to edge rushers who you faced before, whether it be in the SEC or here in the Pac-12, because they're obviously very productive?
Yeah, it's I think Colorado and USC are different schematically and different personnel-wise. Obviously I have a personal history with Todd Orlando. We went to the same high school, coached at UConn together, so I've known Todd for a very long time. Great friend, have a great amount of respect for him. I think he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the game, but incredibly multiple, a lot of movement up front, mix up their coverages. As you said, 99 is a game wrecker. He's a guy that can single-handedly take over, whether it be in the run game or the pass game. And then second and third levels, a lot of length and a lot of speed. And they play very hard, and they're very disruptive, create a lot of turnovers. So, could be a huge challenge.
AJ Jacobson, Rivals.
Coach, as you mentioned, you're preparing for several different teams in the span of a few days. In this last one, when you found out you were getting ready for USC, how did you flip the switch with your guys and convert from practicing from one team to practicing for another immediately?
I mean, we literally had a walkthrough for Colorado in the morning. So we were in the midst of that. And I think towards the tail end when we kind of got the word and sent the kids back home for a little bit. And then we went in the office and started putting a game plan together. And whatever that was, 2, 3, 4 hours, got the kids back, installed the game plan, and went out and practiced it last night. So there wasn't much time to marinate or think or kind of stew over things. It was kind of a ready, fire, aim situation.
Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
Joe, unusual circumstances not playing last week. That was unexpected. I would just ask Andy this question too, so I'll ask it to you. Do you guys feel like you maximized the practice time, and maybe what areas do you feel like you improved in over the last couple of weeks?
You talking about for Washington or Colorado or USC or just in general?
Just in general, not specific to prep, just kind of working on fundamentals and improving as a team over the course of the last couple of weeks.
I think that's something that Coach does very well. The beginning part of practice is a lot of individual and fundamental and technique and group work. So not just the guys who are playing in the game, but some of the younger guys in red shirts are getting some quality reps there. Transitions into your opponent work. So that, that's more scout team related, where it's very specific. So I think having any extra time that you can get, and kind of as you go into bowl season, those individual reps and things you could get for the young guys are always very beneficial. And then, as it pertains to the opponent, that's been pretty standard.
Ryan Thorburn, Register Guard.
Joe, I'm wondering, did the extra time off give CJ a chance to get healthier? And is it nice to have a guy who's obviously been on this stage before as the reigning Pac-12 title game MVP?
Yeah, I mean, CJ's a great young man. He's a very talented player. He's been battling through, that hand deal. So I hope, he's feeling good. He's practiced. So hopefully I'm ready to roll for the game. But anytime somebody's performed, like you mentioned, at that high of a level on that big of a stage, it's something not just the older guys can look to, but the guys who haven't been there as well.
James.
Joe, you mentioned your history with Todd. I didn't know the high school bit. I knew the stuff at UConn. To go down memory lane a little bit, just in terms of, obviously you guys achieved unbelievable success while there and went to a Fiesta Bowl there, which had never been done before, hadn't been done since. What were some of those interactions back? I realize it's 10 years ago, but what was that like, being in practice against that all the time on both sides? And then how much of that familiarity, when you look at tape, is still there today? Yeah,
I mean, Todd, Todd was 4 or 5 years ahead of me. They actually won the states his senior year. He was a scholarship linebacker, played at Wisconsin. And then I was at Akron. The UConn OC job opened up and went up there. And Our first year, we beat South Carolina in the Papa John's Bowl. I think we beat Notre Dame that year at Notre Dame. And then the next year is when we won the Big East and played Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. But, both of us obviously very competitive guys, know each other very well. His scheme has kind of evolved, time he was there, and he was, Coach Cristobal's defensive coordinator at IU as well. But like I said, Todd's one of the best in the game. Friends, we talk, we text, and all that stuff. But obviously, when it comes to the competitive aspect of it, I think both of us are at this level because of our competitive nature, and hopefully, we do this stuff pretty well. So it'll be fun, but it'll be definitely competitive and entertaining.
Warren Williamson, Oregon Duck football news.
Hey, Joe, Devin's going back home to play against his Trojans. I'm just wondering from your perspective, and I don't want you to give, your game plan away, but from your perspective, how much of a difficult matchup is he from offense to defense against the Trojans?
Yeah, I think they do a real nice job with their corners, with the Griffin and the Steele kid, both skilled cover guys. But I think you saw kind of, obviously Devin missed the last game, but kind of had a little bit of a coming out party, back-to-back 100-yard receiving games against two quality opponents. And Devin's got a ton of length. He's got great speed. He's got, tremendous ball skills. I think Coach McClellan's done a great job, not just with him, but guys in the room. But, he was really, I think he had broken out, and I think he was even on the cusp of bigger things had he not missed a game. So we just got to get him back into the swing of things. And, he's had a nice few practices since he's been back and been healthy.
Max Torres scooped up.
Joe, as we're winding down here on the regular season, you've had some stops, all over the country, Big Ten, SEC. What are some of the differences that you've kind of noticed in the Pac-12 play since you've been here?
I think the biggest takeaway has been the parity. You go week to week, and you have to be on your A game in terms of preparation and effort and execution. And a lot of these games come down to the last possession. I think I've been impressed with the overall speed at the skill positions. And I think there's been some very impressive edge pass rushers as well. And obviously a bunch of teams that are very well coached. So I'd say those are the takeaways.
AJ.
Coach Hunter Cantler was saying the other day that this was a tight end friendly offense. Now, why is this a tight end friendly offense?
Why is it? I think, one, because we have a tight end on the field a majority of the time, whether it be 11 personnel. We've delved more into 10 this year, but we've been, some 12 and stuff like that. But, you go all the way back to, time at Akron. We had a couple kids, Chris Kasperick, Merce Poindexter, who both had, pretty good seasons there. At UConn, Ryan Griffin has played in the league for a bunch of years. I think he's still, I'm not sure who he's with now. At Fordham, we had two FCS guys that both got into NFL camps and, set school records for tight ends. And then Michael Gesicki did the same thing at Penn State, and he's having I think he got banged up a little bit yesterday, but he's having a great year. So I think the utilization of the tight end in the run game relative to the blocking, we asked them to do things that they're capable of doing, but I think flexibility where we can align them in the core of the formation, or, we spread them out wide to try to, create mismatches. So long-winded answer. I think we've done a good job of utilizing them and finding ways to create mismatches and have given them a bunch of targets over the years.
James.
Turnovers are always important, Joe. If it was easy to fix, nobody would ever turn the ball over. But did you see over the course of the last week plus the progress you wanted to see there in terms of corrections, and just, again, how much more important is it against a team who's, I believe they're +5, if memory serves me correctly, for SC, where they've obviously capitalized on opponents' mistakes?
Yeah, very disruptive. And then it's kind of magnified in a game of this, importance, in a championship game on a national stage. But, we drill ball security, every day at the beginning of practice. When we're in team drills, we harp on the importance of, ball high and tight and not exposing the points. And, our DBs work to strip it out. And then from a quarterback's standpoint, the decision-making process and the accuracy. So it's something, and, unfortunately we haven't been great at it, but it is not for lack of focus and practice, during the course of the week. So you just got to continue to harp on it. And it's kind of a little bit of a double-edged. You don't want to have your quarterback. You want him to be aggressive but not reckless. So you want to talk to him about managing and limiting turnovers, but at the same time, you don't want to scare him out of doing the things he does well. So we want to maintain our aggressiveness without being reckless, and obviously have to be better with how we handle it and the decisions that we make, and not just the quarterback position, across the board.
Ryan Thorburn, register guard.
Joe, it's such a bizarre, uneven year. What would a
You think?
Pac-12 would a Pac-12 championship in 2020 mean? I'm not going to say more, but something special to the guys that have sacrificed so much to get to that point.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. Either 4 of the last 5 or 5 of the last six schools I've been at, I've been a part of a conference championship. At Akron, at UConn, at Fordham, at Penn State, and have the opportunity here. So anytime you get a chance to play for a game that puts the ring on your finger and you get to hoist a big trophy, those are particularly rewarding experiences for programs, for players, and for coaches. But as you mentioned, in an unprecedented time where the players and coaches have sacrificed so much, being sequestered, I don't know if that's the word, being isolated, not being able to be around their families, maybe not being able to engage in some of the social activities that college kids are privy to during a normal time. I think kind of that shared bond of all of us going through the same thing and the testing, and it'll definitely be one where maybe we haven't played as many games, but the experience and the trials to get there will be something that I think we could all look back and reflect on and say that it was unique and special.
Final question, James.
We talked about Tyler, Joe, and he's not just the only piece of the offense who, while they were on the team last year, they weren't the starters who led the championship and those things. It's a first-time experience for O-linemen, him, et cetera, coming off losses, preparing for this. What have you seen over the last week and a half or so about responding to Cal and getting back on track and preparing for this opportunity over the last 24 hours? It's different to command a team entering a championship game. It's a first-time go for him. Yeah,
I mean, it's uncharted waters for a lot of guys. And I think the thing about us offensively has been, I won't say our resilience, but I mean, I'm not a guy, I've exposed to enough negative based on kind of, we always try to keep the glass half full, right? And we kind of acknowledge the fact, hey, we're averaging close to 40 a game. We're averaging almost 500 yards to lead the league. Those are all the things that we're doing well, and we're having a pretty dang good year. See the things that we haven't done well, right? Addressing the turnovers. We score a bunch of points and do a good job against Oregon State. You want to finish that last drive out. That's something that sticks in your craw a little bit. And then obviously being shut out in the second half. So, I think, they're going to have to kind of fall back on kind of some of the experiences some of the other guys have who have played in the game. And then the guys who haven't, they're going to have to, fall back on their preparation.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time. Have a good day.